let me bring on Chris Crozier, founder of Mobile Mentors, for some Tech 101.
Hey, David, thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be here with you folks. We've got an interesting show today. Today, we're going to be focusing mostly on email security, how we access different parts with our email, but also we're going to go into video chat options. So now if you're viewing this, you're kind of seeing a video chat option as well. But one of the things we're going to start off with is what emails are we going to essentially focus on? And so
I'm going to let you take this over. I'm going to back out, but you know to call me when you need me. And if you need a test with me, I'll be here.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a test call later on.
All right.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to do now is we are going to hop over to emails. And so my question to you is, what email are you currently using? Are you using a Gmail? Are you using a Yahoo account? Are you using a Comcast? Are you using a, a Rocket Mail, an AOL account? And if you are, then I think these are some important things that you may want to hear here. So if you are using like a Comcast, an AT&T account, then I would highly recommend you move away from those different things. Now, the reason why I say that is just based on personal experience and personal experiences of my clients is what happens when you have some unsatisfactory experience with your Comcast or your AT&T, or your bill has gone too high and you decide to switch carriers. Now, all the email that you've used over the past 10, 15 years, all the contacts you've built up, all the labels and the folders that you've made are now tied to that email address. And that's how those companies try and hold on to you, is they say, hey, this person has got this long-standing email with us, and if they leave, they have to continue to pay us certain amounts of money to keep that email address. Now, the reason why I say going to like an independent or a third-party kind of company such as Gmail or Yahoo would be because those are individual companies that are going to say, hey, you can have an email just with us. You don't have to pay anything to us. You don't have to do anything like that. You can sign up for free and you can keep that email as long as you want to. So me personally, I use Gmail for a wide variety of things. I probably have maybe 6 accounts, and we'll get into that on how many accounts you should have and things like that. But let's just go ahead and jump into it. So I would recommend that you have at least 2 email accounts. Now, what I mean by that is you want to have a personal and you want to have a spam account. Now, how often have we gone into a store, or we've signed up for a newsletter, or we've done something to the extent that we didn't really want to sign up to, that we either got pressured into, or it was something that was required when we were signing up for something on a website, or something that we don't want to come to us on a frequent basis? That would go into a spam email account. So my name is Chris Crozier, and let's say I have a spam account that I would call Chris Crozier 2 at gmail.com. Or you can make it whatever you want to and then add a 2 to it to let yourself know, hey, this is my spam account. This is the account that I could care less that goes to. I don't want any information going to it. It doesn't have any information on me on here. I'll check this maybe once or twice a month. Then you'll have your own personal account. That personal account is going to be the one that you mainly use, that you only give out to family and to friends. All these companies don't know about it. The only people that know about it are professional information that you have, or professional interests that you have. And then on top of that are just friends. That way that you know when you get an email from that account that it's from somebody or something that you want to hear from. So now, in that endeavor, it's figuring out what is going to be the best email for you folks and what's going to work best. Now, since there are a multitude of different emails, I picked the one that had the most users, the most up-to-date functionality, the best security, and kind of combined an overall ability of all of them into one. And I found that Gmail was that one. So what I would like to do is I'd like to kind of take you into one of my fake Gmail accounts or my extra Gmail accounts that I use and kind of show you a little bit of different things that we do with that. And so while I'm going through this, be sure to comment any questions that you have. Let me know if I am moving too fast or if I could elaborate more on a specific topic. Also, if you find any value in anything that I've done in the past, or you think that this would be information that other people should listen to or hear, be sure to take this on Facebook and click the share button that's in the bottom right-hand corner. That share button is going to post it on your account and let other people know that you're watching this specific thing. So if we are able to do that, that way other people would be able to see it and we'd be able to let other people see these resources. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'm going to take you into Gmail. Let's go here. Tab. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into Gmail. And I did that by taking it right up here in my search bar and typing in Gmail. Now this is going to load up. This is my Gmail account. And this is just one of those extra Gmails that I use. Now, in there, we see a lot of different things going on. A lot of things. So we've got multiple toolbars on each side. We've got another few things up here. We've got a few icons over here on the side as well. So one of the things that we're going to start off with is just this main section right here. Now, a lot of people, if you're like me, then you have the ability to get thousands of emails at one time. We don't want that. We don't like that. And so over time, we have to get rid of multiple emails or else they stack up. I bet a lot of you don't have one of these things right here, an inbox that has 0 on it. And if you do, props to you, but a lot of people don't because they get so many emails. And so in that time frame, what I want you to do is I want you to know that there is an easy way. There is an easy way that we can delete all these different things and get this stuff out of the way. You don't have to worry about it. And I'm going to show you how to delete an email, but I'm also going to show you how to delete hundreds of emails, all within a quick time frame. So one of the things that we're going to look for on any email system that you're using, we're going to look right up here in this top left-hand corner. We should see something like right over here that says select. And when we do, it selects 50 emails at a time. I'm then able to take those emails and strictly click right here on delete. And now, if we look right up here, see where it says loading? I had 211. Now I only have 161 because I was able to delete 50 at one time. And how I did that one more time is going to be clicking on this left-hand side on select. I selected all these emails. Now, if there's a specific one that you want to keep, so let's say I want to keep this specific one, I can click on that and I can click on this other one. And then when I hit delete, guess what? Those two specific ones stay right here at the top. So it's pretty neat that I can do those different things. Now, when it comes to using this account, I think it's going to be a more beneficial thing to do if over time we're able to create folders. Now, in creating said folders, oh, hang on, got a little too far ahead of myself. A lot of people have asked me, and I think this might have been one of the comments before, but it was, what's the difference between deleting and archiving? Now, it's a great question. Now, an archive, what that does is it essentially moves it out of the way. It puts it in another folder altogether, but it's still there. So if I were to delete it or archive it, like this button does, it just moves it to a different folder that I don't see it in. But if I scroll down over here on my left-hand side, there's a section that says all mail, and it would show up still there, even though I've archived it. So that's just me putting it in a different archive, in a different hall that I'm unable to see it. But when I delete it, it essentially is like me taking a piece of paper, balling it up and throwing it in the trash can. Now, a lot of people get scared when they delete something. But when you delete it, you typically have, based upon the server that you're using for your email, you typically have 30 days to retrieve that. Just like if I throw something in the trash can, it's still in the trash until someone throws it away and takes it to the landfill, until someone picks it up and gets rid of it. So you've got 30 days to go back and check those deleted messages and see if that's something that you necessarily want to keep, or you got rid of something that you didn't want to. But what I want to do now is I want to show you that not only can you do that, but you can also delete individually by going here and clicking on the delete button. You can click on multiple sections here and then just click delete up here at the top. A lot of different options when it comes to deleting emails. And that's been a huge question that comes from a lot of clients on how to clean things up. Now, the next thing that I think is going to be most beneficial for our folks at home is going to be creating folders. So I need to say, hey, what's going to be easy for me to kind of go back and look at things? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here on my left-hand side, and I'm going to click create a new label. So I'm just going to name this test folder. And then I'll hit create. So now when I come here, I've got a test folder. I can move it different places, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it back up. And if I say, hey, I want to take this PlayStation thing and move this over, I can literally take this over and drop it in the test folder. And so as I'm doing it, I can look back and I can see that my test folder has this one email that's already been added. Now, my thing to you is when it comes to getting rid of emails, the biggest thing to do first is to say, today is the day. Today is the day. We are going to start creating folders. We're going to start deleting our email, and we're going to do it one at a time. Emails are just like cooking. If you wait till the end to clean, you'll have so much stuff to do and you won't want to do it. Same way with your photos, same way with your email, is just do a little bit right now to kind of go ahead and say, hey, today's the day. We're going to make that step and we're going to move towards creating those emails. And if you have some trouble with these things, feel free to comment or feel free to reach out to us. And I'd love to hop on a call or help you any way that I can. That way we can kind of get you squared away, because I know email is a lot of communication for a lot of folks. And so when it comes to those specific things, the last part of email that a lot of people have commented on is their privacy and security settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into those really quickly and showcase those to you. So the way that we do that is we come right over here to our right-hand side, and we're going to click on the account. And then when we do, we're going to click Manage Your Google Account. So we see that we've got a whole list of things on our left-hand side when it comes to personal information that we can see that's out there. I'm not going to click on it just because it's got my personal information on it. But if I click on security, I can see security issues have been found. Protect your account by resolving these issues. So let's go and click on secure account. So I can continue to my Google account. I can see third-party apps that I have issues with or sign in and recovery. I can say, hey, is this what I want? Is this the email that I want to use? Is this the phone number I want to use? What verification methods are out there? And what that essentially just means is how can Google verify that you are who you say you are? So a lot of people have been reaching out to me and saying, I keep getting these texts. I keep getting this two-step verification, and I just don't understand it. What does this mean? So this is Apple, Android, Google. These are all of these companies use a two-step verification. What that means is there's two steps. The first step is you sign in on your computer, you type in your username, you type in your password, and they say, hey, that looks like that might be Christopher. But you know what? Just to double check, we're going to send another code to his phone. We're going to send another code to another email address that he's already listed, whichever one you choose. I like to use the phone just because I always have my phone with me. I don't have to go to another website. I get a device text to my phone, and then I say, oh, here's another code. So then I type in that code on the computer, and I'm all set. I am now logged in, and they can say, surely, that this is Christopher. This is the one that we were wanting to use. So if you ever want to secure your account, I would highly recommend going into and doing a two-step verification. As long as you have that texting ability, and that is, I think standard message rates do apply to those different things, but those are things that I would think would be very beneficial to help you out when it comes to keeping your email secure. Now, the next part of that is just navigating our toolbars that are out there. We know how to delete emails. We know how to mass delete a bunch of them. But the next thing we want to do is we want to know what we're clicking on. And so let's look into that very quickly. So if I go in here, I can see that this big white bubble letter that says compose is going to be what I can use to create a message. So I can go in and I can choose who I want to send it to. So it might be David. And I'll put in just a generic email that could be his, could not be his, who knows, davidbash@gmail.com. And so I've got who I want to send it to. I'll put in my subject and I'll say test. And then I'll just say read above subject. And I can then choose to send it. But if I look to my right-hand side, see there's other options. There's this thing called a schedule send. So I can choose to send it at a specific time. So sometimes I'm a night owl. I usually like to be early to bed and late to rise, but lately I've been more of a night owl. So if I start typing up a message, I don't want to send somebody a message at 1 o'clock in the morning. I want to send it to them at 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock. And so I have the ability to click right here and do a schedule send. But even in sending something, it might be better if I make it look a little bit prettier. So I can go over here and I can change my font. I can make it bold. I can make it italicized. I can do all of these different things to make the email look a little bit more presentable. I can even add in a photo. I could add a link or an attachment or something from my Google Drive, which we will get into in just a moment. But I have all of these options. I can turn on confidential mode, or I can even insert my signature. Pretty neat things. But since I'm not sure if this is David's email, I'm not going to send it. So I'm just going to click right up here on this X and close it out. So now, if we look over here on our left-hand side, and we're going to stay focused on this left-hand navigation bar for just a moment, we can see that there is a starred section, a snoozed section, a sent section, and drafts. And these are the main folders that we see, main categories that we see on our left-hand side. Now, what's neat is let's say that I found a particular email that I thought was great, and I put a little star by it. And then I found this one, and I found this one, and I found this one. And I thought all of those were great, and that I might need to reference them at a later date. If I wanted to, I could scroll through all of my emails and see which one would be best when it comes to the stars. Now, I typically don't have too many on here. You might. So having a little notifier would be very helpful when it comes to finding that specific email. But if you have the hundreds of thousands that some of my clients do have, maybe it would be best to click right over here on this left-hand side where it says starred. And it will put all the ones that you put a star by in a specific category that you could find them in. Now, the next one's pretty neat. This next one's called snoozed. So if I receive a specific email, I have the ability to snooze it. So I may get an email from somebody that says, hey, Christopher, it was great talking to you. Can you send me that specific email? Can you send me that photo? Can you do this? Can you do something that creates an action on my part? And I say, sure, but it's also 10 o'clock at night. I'm hanging out with friends and I don't have the wherewithal, the ability, the drive to do that at 10 o'clock at night. So what I do is I can right click on it. And when I do, there's a little section called snooze. And I can say, send this to me later today, or send this to me tomorrow at 8 a.m. when I'm ready to go. So I can pick a date, I can pick a time, I can do all of those different things. There's even a task scheduler that's built in here. So I can even add it to a task manager and say, add it to my task. So I have all of those options that come right from Gmail, which makes it, to me, the most user-friendly, the most easiest to use, the most intuitive for what I need it to do on a daily basis. So we also have our sent folder, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to throw it out there as well. These are just messages that you've sent. Then we've got our drafts. These are messages that we've already started and we never finished. So if I click on this, I can see that I was sending one to davidbash@gmail.com, and this is what it was. If I don't want this anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the delete button. So now I don't have any more drafts. So now the rest of those are a little bit more advanced topics. And if that's something that y'all are interested in, I would be more than happy to go through those things with you. Now, later on, we're going to actually talk about video options. And what's great about, let me pull up my notes, but what's great about Google and Gmail as a whole is when you create a Gmail account, you open yourself up to a wide variety of other options that Gmail has for you. Such as, if we click right over here on this section that says Google Apps, we can see that we have our Google Search, Google Maps, a YouTube account, a Google Play account. We have a place to put our contacts. We can do a Meet, which is interesting because we're going to actually talk about Google Meet later as a source of video chat options. We have our Google Calendar. We can even do Google Translate, which is very cool. If you're big into traveling, one of my favorite options is Google Translate because they have a photo option where I can actually take my phone out and it will use my camera to read words that I don't understand in other languages and then translate it to me. It's pretty cool. But then if we scroll down, we've got our Google Drive, Google Photos, and Google Duo. Google Duo is also a video chat option for us. So it even has options like Microsoft does, where it has Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides, which is like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. So tons of different things right there with a free account that you get that you're never going to have to be told, hey, you're no longer with Comcast, so you can't have this account. Gmail's not going to do that to you. And so I've had nothing but good things with Gmail. But let's talk about, first, let's talk about FaceTiming or video chat options. So I'm going to go ahead and come off this screen and I'll go back to our video chat options. So we're almost to about the halfway point. I'd love it if you guys could go ahead and throw in some questions that you may have. We may even bring David on here in a few minutes to kind of talk about these different things. But if you have some questions, I'm going to leave the last 5 or so minutes open for questions. But I want to make sure that I answer what you guys find important and what we can hit on to give you the best resources possible. But when we're talking about video chat options, there are a few that came out to me that I thought were pretty interesting, that I thought would be most beneficial for the communities that we're in. And so first one, if you have an Apple device of any sort, whether it be a Mac computer, an iPad, iPod, an iPhone, then almost all of those, depending on the version you have a camera that's on the front, which you can use for a video chat option. So that specific one would be called FaceTime. And we can look at that option in a moment. But the next one that I wanted to show you was Skype. Skype is mostly used for business calls now today. And it is available on Microsoft, Mac, and multitudes of other products. So then I also had a question brought up about Zoom. So Zoom is a wonderful video chat option that has skyrocketed since the quarantine, which we're here. We're on a live stream video chat and we're wanting people to tune in, and that's great because this helps us reach multiple people, just like Zoom has done. Then there's also Google Duo, which we saw earlier, which is a great video streaming app. And then one that was very surprising that I thought was pretty neat was Facebook. And a lot of people are like, Facebook's doing everything and they're taking over. And you're right, they are doing everything. And so what's neat is Facebook has built in not only to their desktop applications, such as viewing it on your computer, but also on your mobile devices, that you have the ability to video chat with people. We're going to actually do that in just a moment. But my question to you is, when it comes to video chatting or video streaming of any sort, excuse me, what is the purpose for the video chat that you're using? Because depending on your purpose depends on which medium to go through. So if you're looking to do things for more business purposes, I would recommend Zoom or Skype. If you are looking to do things more friend related, I would go ahead and say, let's do FaceTime or Facebook. And so just depending. So for me, a lot of my clients, they want to connect with their family. They want to make sure that they are checking in with them. They live a far distance away. So I recommend FaceTime or Facebook. And letting them know how to do that is going to be, has been super beneficial for them because they've been able to connect with their grandkids, and it's just been a good time for all of them. So one of the things that we're first going to do is we're going to go into, let's go into FaceTime. So if you're on an Apple device, there should be an application called FaceTime. So I am going to share my screen, and I'm just going to do my entire screen. So you're going to see it all. So I'm going to share my whole screen, and I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go into my FaceTime, and hopefully it's pulled up. And if not, I'm going to look like a fool. There's me. See if I remember my password. Of course, this is the only time it would do this. Would never do it before. I've been signed into this thing for ages. And now when I try to show somebody, they don't want to do it. So while this is thinking about loading up, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like on Facebook. Okay. So we're going to go to, let's see, Facebook. log into my account here. I typically don't use this specific one. I typically don't use Chrome. Let's see. So there we go. We're in Facebook now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, let's call David. Let's see what he's up to. So what we're going to do is I'm going to search David's name. I'm going to go in. And I am going to go into David. I found a David R. Bash right here. And I am going to click on him. And I'm actually going to click just this message button right over here. Now, when I do, there's an option for me to start a video chat with him. So I can click right here on this camera button. And when I do, it automatically starts up. It starts asking me if I want to use my camera and my microphone. So we're going to go ahead and call David and see what he's up to.
Hello.
Hello? Where's your face at?
That's terrible. Oh, hey, hold on. Let's, there we go.
Hey, there he is. So now I have the ability to see David right there based on what he's doing, and it calls directly to his cellular device. I'm on my computer, and I'm not doing anything else. I don't have any extra equipment, nothing. It comes directly from Facebook. So this has sent me right to him without anything at all. Now, what's neat is I can do that from my phone. I can do that from an iPad. I can do that from any of the devices that I have here. Now, what's neat is when I move this icon over, I can actually add more people. So if I'm in a group or I have a lot of friends in a specific area, I can go ahead and start clicking on them and add them to it. I can turn off the video. So if I don't have a lot of my makeup on that I usually do to help me look so beautiful as I typically do, then I can turn off my video. I can mute my microphone. I can even do something called share my screen. So if I'm like, hey, I need to show you something, my computer's not working the right way, blah, 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 blah. I can do those things. Now, one of the very coolest things that Facebook has just come out with is, don't you just miss before the quarantine being able to just sit down next to somebody and watch TV? Well, now you can, because if we click right up here, try watch together, watch videos, TV shows, and movies together. So now my screen will be here. I can see David. He'll be moved up to the side, and we can watch the same shows together. We can
That's
laugh.
all I've ever wanted.
That's all he's ever wanted. And it's right here, folks. It's right here. And so it's very neat that we can do those things. So I can enter full screen mode where I see things in full screen. I can look at my settings on here. So I can say, hey, what camera do I want to use? What's my audio output? None of that stuff you really need to change, but it's there in case you want to. But I think it's very cool that we can not only have a group of folks, but we can even watch something together. We can have a intuitive, fun phone call together. So imagine watching something with your grandkids or watching something with a lot of different friends on a specific thing that you were interested in. So for me, I've been in tennis for a long time. I really enjoy tennis. And so watching the US Open, for instance, there we go. Look at that. I mean, I don't even need to watch it. You got David right here doing a lot of cool things. And so right there alone. Now, what's also the last thing that I want to mention to you is this button right over here on the left-hand side. I can open a chat with him. And so even if we're watching the same show, I could say, hey, what did you think about those trick shots? I can send that over to him, and then he'll get that on his device, and he can interact with it, do those different things. Now, he is on his phone, so he's going to have to do those different things, and it's going to take him off camera for just a second. But once he responds, he'll pop back up on the screen. Love them. Got it. So I can like it. I can say that's great. If we've got a bunch of people in the chat, everything's good. And we're all set up right there with our video chat. Now, even though this is a test run, I would feel bad by not saying goodbye before I hang up. So David, I am going to say goodbye. See you later. I'm going to hang up the phone call now, and we might bring you in just a little bit later on.
I'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks for thinking of me.
No problem, David. Talk to you soon. So just like that, I was able to even make a phone call myself and do that directly through Facebook. I didn't need my phone. I didn't need a cell device. I didn't need anything. And I was able to make that phone call directly from there. So I think that would be a great option for you. I think that's going to be a great thing to keep in mind when it comes to looking at things that are out there. Now, when it comes to Zoom, I had a client comment on one of these videos recently, and they said they wanted to talk about Zoom. Now, Zoom is very, very interesting. We're going to get into it. So I'm going to take you step by step on how to download Zoom in case you're using it for work or you're using it for connection with other people. A lot of businesses and companies are looking to switch to Zoom to give themselves a different edge on connecting with other members. A few of the boards that I'm on, we like to use Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen once more, and I'm going to walk you through how to use Zoom. So what we're going to do is we're essentially just going to come in and we're going to just type in Zoom on our search bar. When we do, we see the first thing that comes up is Zoom. We'll click on it, and we will accept these cookies they want us to do. And we will scroll down. Oh, I know it. It's been so long since I've done it. So we'll hit sign up. It's free. Now, once you sign up, you'll put in your date of birth, everything like that. And we'll go through and do it real quick. I'm just going to put in a fake one, September 22nd. This is my girlfriend's birthday, so that way you guys don't know how old I am. And then we'll just put in a email address. Once we put in that email address, actually, I'll put in the one that I had earlier. So do... actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in with my Google account that we already made. So we'll sign in with our Google account, and I see I've got one right here. So I don't have to create a new password. I don't have to create anything else. Just another benefit of having a Google account, a Gmail account. So I'll hit create account. And when I do, it gives me the ability to do all of these different things. So I've got it. Different things like that. I can download an extension that goes right there. And if you are on an Apple device, you can download an app that lets you download Zoom. But also, they will give you a section on here to download it directly to your device. But what I like to do is I like to use it just for, I don't want it to take up a lot of space on my computer, which it doesn't, but still, I can schedule a meeting. I can join a meeting. As you can see, it's not as intuitive and it's not as easy to use when it comes to Facebook. It's not as easy to use as it would be with FaceTime. And so, like I said, this is more used for businesses, but we can kind of go in a little bit more into this. So if we look on our left-hand side, We can create a profile. We can look at the meetings that we have upcoming, webinars that may be taking place for business uses, recordings. What's neat is whenever we do like a board meeting and we're doing it over Zoom, we do it with a recording. Now, below we have our settings. You can go in, you can change different things, whether or not you want to put a green screen, things like that. User management, account management, things of that nature. Now, let's go to host a meeting, and we're going to leave video on. So I'm going to hit open, and there we go. And now it is connected to my computer audio. I'm allowed to see everything. I see my name is down here on the bottom left, and we're going to go through what we actually see on the screen. So I'm just going to double check to make sure that you guys can see what I see when I pull up my Zoom, which you cannot. So that's great, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this so that you guys can actually see everything that I'm looking at. So I'm going to go back to Zoom, and it pulls up this screen for me. So now I'm able to see my name right here in the bottom left-hand corner. I can see if my mic is working. I can mute or unmute myself. I can stop the video, and there's a little arrow right here. I can click on it, and I can choose a virtual background, a video filter. So even if I want a different background behind me, which this isn't the best background behind me to use this for, but let's see. I don't think it's going to work. But yeah, it basically would make a background behind you so that you look like you're either in an office or you're in space or you're behind grass or you're in an office cubicle, whatever you want. You can add different video filters to it to make it look a specific way based in your settings. Now, if we look down here at the bottom, we can see that we have a few other options as well. So we can see the security that we have. So whether we want to lock this meeting, because a lot of people will try and join other people's video rooms, we can hide our profile pictures or different things of that nature. Now, the thing that I like as well is, where'd it go? The thing that I like as well is my ability to share my screen, which I use for a lot of clients. It gives me the ability to kind of go in, and if it was not me and you did not meet me personally, I do not recommend you let anyone share your screen. And what I mean by that is I don't recommend you let anyone take over your screen. And so that can be done by prompting you and saying, hey, is it okay if I take over your screen? Do not recommend that. A lot of viruses happen to people by letting people do those different things. If you'd like, you have the ability to record, and that way you can showcase that to whoever and say, hey, this person did something to my computer and I've had problems ever since. This is what they did, and you can show them the recording. Now, if we move over to this left-hand side, and the next part of the category is participants, we can click here, and I can add people. I can invite them. I can mute everyone. And then I even have more options here. And so I can go in and I can invite David into a meeting simply by sending him him being a contact or an email. I can copy this link, and then I will head over to my chat with David, and I send that over to him and see if he can join in on us. So I'm sending that invite over to David. Let's see if he can join us. I really hope David has Zoom installed. And if he doesn't, good news, he's got this resource where he can go back and figure out how to download it. Let's see where this old bird is at.
I got you. I'm coming in. Give me a second.
He's coming in there. Now, what's also interesting is if you're looking at my screen, you can see over here on this left-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this, but if you look over here on my screen, I now have a smaller window of me on my screen, and that's all from my Zoom call. So let's say that I'm working in something else and I need to click on something and pull it up, like this photo of me and my dog I had somebody draw for me, and I'm looking at that, or I'm pulling up a document while I'm at work. I now can see not only myself, but David just joined. And so when I start talking, it pulls up my face. But when David starts talking, I can't hear David. So I'm going to go open Zoom back and see if he's muted. He's not. Still can't hear him. Don't know what's going on. Why don't you unmute yourself? Try that and see if it works. Not working. Now, there's a lot of things that we can go into. It looks like he's connecting to his audio. There we go. Still nothing. And it might be on my end based on the speakers, but we're going to keep moving with reactions. So I can even click on this and say, I'm upset, or I've got this look on my face because I can't hear David. So if I wanted to record things, or I wanted to send him a chat, I can go in and I can send one just to David and say, hey, I can't hear you. And send this to him. And so now that is a direct message that we see. But let's say I'm in a room with 15 people, I can say, hey, can anyone hear David? Now, if we notice, that message went to everyone from what we can see right over here on this right-hand side. Now, if I want to, I can go in and I can click on more and I can say, I don't want to see David's face anymore. Stop that video. Or I can say, ask to start his video again. It gives him a prompt. He can turn it on, and there we go. Now, as the host, I have that ability. But if you are joining a Zoom call, you're limited to what the host allows you to do. So keep that in mind when it comes to joining a Zoom call. Now, the worst part of a Zoom call is when everybody's getting ready to leave and they don't know how to get off the Zoom call. And they're like, all right, see you later. All right, bye. And everyone tries to leave. But then there's that 5-6 seconds delay. And you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I got to figure out how to get out of this thing. The way that you can do that is you would just click right here on the end. And then you would click leave meeting. So I can leave David in the meeting if I want to, but I'm going to hit leave meeting for all, and that closes everybody else out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but that's a majority of what's happening when you join that Zoom call. I showed you how to download it. I've shown you how to join a meeting or host a meeting. Now, the thing that could come up is you're asked to join a meeting. Joining a meeting is very interesting because what often happens is they send you a link. So you'll copy that link, and we'll actually do this real quick. Let's do... this. So when you click on Zoom, it's actually going to pull up this guy. And so what's neat is I can see what time it is. I can see if I've got any upcoming meetings, and I can see right here my name, what I've got on here, whether it's availability, do not disturb, my profile, all of these different things I have the option to do. But we wanted to join a meeting. The way that we join a meeting is if we look here, we can see that we have a meeting ID or a personal link. So when I click that, I can hit Command and V. Well, what I do is I copy and paste the link that was sent to me. So when I copy that link and I send it to me, I can say connect. Now, I already ended the meeting, so the meeting's not really the ability to be joined. But if someone sends you a link, you'll click join, you'll type in the link, and then you'll hit join right there. Now, some of them require passwords. When you do, you'll just type in the password that's there. Now, overall, what's going to happen is if you already have Zoom downloaded on your computer, then you typically could just click the link and it will pull up Zoom automatically. Now, what we've got going on is we've been going for about 55 minutes. And so what I want to do is I want to open the floor to you. If you've got a question, or if David wants to come on and he's got any questions for me, come on in and ask me some questions for the last few minutes. And I'm looking forward to hearing any comments or concerns that you guys have. That way we can address those in the next coming weeks. But David, let's hear what you got.
Hey, Chris. Great day. My first question is, how did you pack so much information into 55 minutes?
Ooh, that's a great question. I felt like I was speeding through it. I hope that I didn't go too fast for anybody, but I noticed that a lot of people, they love to connect with other folks, and I just want to make sure that I get as much information in as possible.
Yeah, and if you're watching this, or if you watch this and there's something that Chris did that maybe you'd like to see again, or maybe you'd like to have him walk you through, one, we'll be reposting this video so you guys can watch it. You can stop it, follow the instructions, stop it, follow the instructions, and kind of go through it. And then second, of course, you can meet with Chris and his team if you still need questions. And, we're working on, potentially bringing Chris to the senior centers if we get enough people with enough questions to kind of talk to you guys. Thank you to Blackwell Senior Center. I hope that everybody learned a lot. Chris, I don't have too many questions after this one. Usually I do. If I'm trying to decide between Facebook and FaceTime, which one would you say I should use if I'm trying to connect with people? And if somebody has an Android phone, can they FaceTime?
If someone has an Android phone, they cannot FaceTime. FaceTime is an iOS or an Apple device only application. And so the reason why is not that they don't want it to be for everybody. It's something that was built into the software that is only available to those people. Now, when it comes to connecting with people, it just depends. So for me personally, if I'm using my phone to connect with somebody and I want to video chat with them, I'll typically just use FaceTime. Most of the people that I connect with on a daily basis all have iPhones, and so it's very easy for me to just do FaceTime. Now, if I'm looking to have like a business call or something of that nature that possibly is going to lead to me needing to look at their computer or look at what's going on, then I'll use Zoom. But I just started dating in this quarantine, and so it's been very interesting when I'm wanting to connect with the girl I'm dating to watch a movie with her or watch a TV show, and then I can just click on Facebook and I can watch a show right there with her. Or I can say, hey, look at this video I found. I thought it was hilarious. And she's 4 hours away. Luckily, she's just now moved here, and everything's good. And I use FaceTime now most of the time with her. But I was recently we're going through all the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah, we're doing that too.
And so what we're wanting to do is we've had a lot of people since we posted about it recently, and they're like, hey, I want to come join you. And I go, what if instead I just set up this Facebook event thing, and I can add as many people to it as I want, and we can just chat and we can have talks, and everybody can watch it with us at one time.
That sounds like something we should do with the senior center.
Yeah, that'd be a great time. So that's what I'd recommend. It just depends on who you're talking to and for how long and what your purpose is. So I would say FaceTime if they've got an iPhone. And then if you're looking to connect with a bunch of people and maybe share more content with them, go with Facebook.
All right. So it sounds like if you guys are missing people, go to that Facebook Messenger, give them a call, and maybe watch a movie with them while you're at it.
Yeah. Be a good time.
Well, Chris, thanks so much for being here. We have Chris Crozier with Mobile Mentors, Tech 101. We'll be back next week. What are we doing next week? Do we know?
Next week is a toss-up. I'm trying to decide between a couple of things, but don't want to release anything just yet.
Well, let us know what you guys want to learn next week, and we can just throw out whatever lesson plan Chris has at that point anyways.
You got that right. I'm ready for it. Give me anything you got.
All right, Chris, have a good week, man. Thanks for being here.
Talk to you soon.